Hi, it's Lisa from Lisa's Sanctuary, speaking to you today about who I am, what I do, why I do it, and what I've learnt about it. So, my name is Lisa. I created Lisa's Sanctuary as a healing tool for my own healing journey. After experiencing childhood abuse by a family friend and two domestic violence relationships. And so along the way, I've learnt a lot of tools and strategies and processes to help me to understand what I've experienced and how to move forward along my healing journey. And so I've engaged in a lot of different activities, resources, professionals, and one of the game changers for me was hypnosis. So much so that I did certify in it. I have now studied with two different, excuse me, schools of, academies of hypnosis and learned just so much. It's been so beneficial along my own healing journey that I just had to share it with others. And I've come along in my healing journey that I want to show others, that I want to show people that there is life after trauma. There absolutely can be a beautiful life after trauma. And so I did certify in hypnosis. I do offer it as paid sessions. And I've struggled lately with not, I guess, spruiking myself, that feeling of just putting myself out there, advertising myself, because I hold this belief that everyone should have access to these services and this support. It shouldn't be about who can afford it and who can't afford it. And so I struggle to charge for what I do because I use hypnosis, I use inner child work, emotional regulation based on a lot of learning and study, university qualifications, different courses, different other certifications that I have, along with my experience in employment, in volunteer capacities, but also my own personal lived experience and lived expertise of abuse and domestic violence and healing from that, healing from that trauma. So when I, meet with people, I ask the tough questions. I don't want to know just why, what you're feeling. Sorry. I don't want to just know what you're feeling and how you're feeling. I want to know why. Where does it come from? Who made you feel that way? And who else made you feel that way earlier in your life? Because a lot of who we are today is formed, created by the time we're 7 years old. So the mind is broken up into, I sort of see it as the two minds. The conscious mind, which is what I'm using right now, it's this waking state, the conscious mind that holds, little bits of information, what you need right now. That's about 5% of who you are, is the conscious mind. The rest of you, the 95% of you, is held in the subconscious mind. That is every single memory, thought, idea, interaction, everything you have experienced is held in the subconscious. Now, if your conscious mind were to hold every single millisecond of who you are and what you've experienced, it would probably explode. That I don't have a reference for that, but I imagine it wouldn't be pleasant. And so you are running your conscious mind based on subconscious programming, but a lot of who you are and your beliefs, your thought patterns about who you are, your identity, and who you can become is formed by the time you're 7 years old, which means that who you are is a result of those around you. And if you grew up with, sorts of trauma, and when I refer to trauma, I don't only refer to like critical incidences of, abuse and sustained neglect, that really sort of just anything you would automatically think of with abuse and neglect. That creates trauma, but so does not being seen, heard, and loved. If you didn't feel seen, heard, or loved as a child, for extended periods, may have been at different points, that creates trauma. And that creates who you are. That creates your beliefs of the world and who you can become and who you're allowed to become. And so I have learnt so much about it through my own experience, like I said, through formal tertiary qualifications, but also other, speakers and thought leaders and, healers and those who have done this, who have healed from their trauma. I've listened to all of those, or not all of those because there'd be millions out there, but I have listened to many people, and when I like someone's energy, I watch, I binge on them. I just want to soak it all up and absorb their knowledge and their learnings and their teachings. And so I trust in my ability to to support people to move past their trauma. Excuse me. I absolutely have faith in the services that I provide, the healing that I can offer, and what I can get out of you, how we can move you to where you want, who you want to be. Be happy with where you're at, but also be so, in love with who you are becoming. And I believe that, I should get paid for that, because I have bills and, I have children who I want to give the world to as well. And I can go and work in a job and be sort of, told, working in community services role, being sort of given your caseload and who you're working with and, based on need and based on, I want to support, so many more people, and it's unlikely that I will do that in an employer role. Employee role. So this is what I want to do, and everybody has to make a living somehow, and I don't just want to make a living. I want to make an impact. I want to make a difference, and I know I can. And so I've struggled with letting people know who I am and what I do, and that I do offer paid services to help you become, who you want to be. I know I can do it. And because I've done it for myself, I can show you how. And then I was thinking about, I do hold a belief that this sort of stuff should be available to everybody, whether you can afford it or not. And absolutely it should. But I've also spent a lot of money, obtaining these qualifications and certifications and the experience. And, I have children to support. And I thought about, the services that I pay for. And I pay for services because it helps me to feel better, either in body, mind, spirit. I, have paid a counsellor. I have paid a psychologist. I pay for massage to help my body, my muscles feel better. I pay for a personal trainer that I, see for half an hour, 2 sessions a week, because, that helps my mind and body. But I pay for those services because they know more about it. They've learnt the knowledge. They have more knowledge than what I ever will and ever want to. That's why I pay somebody else for their knowledge, so I don't have to go through all of that for myself. And I pay for services now because I know that I'm worthy of them, and I'm allowed to look after myself, take care of myself, and feel better about myself. And I think that's something huge for, a lot of people. I want to say particularly mums, but that's only because that's been my experience, that as a young mum, and then, even as I got older, I didn't feel like I was allowed to, buy nice clothes for myself, buy the better pair of shoes. I didn't buy myself, the extra treats. Everything went on the kids, and, what had to be done. I never felt like I was allowed to spend money on myself or time on myself. For the longest time I didn't get my hair done. I think I've had my nails done twice, but I get regular massages now because that helps my body to function. It helps me to feel better, and I'm allowed to feel better. And so that's sort of what this was about too, my realization that you are allowed to feel better. And it's not just about if you have emotional pain, if you have, there's distress there and you're wanting to feel better, speak to someone about it. Seek out a service which, is going to support you, whether it is counseling, psychology, EMDR. I'm very much into, alternative healing therapies. Reiki, I have paid for before. I've paid for psychic readings as well, because there's something about reading the energy and, where you are at the moment that you can learn a lot from. You can get a lot out of. And to begin with, when I was, when I very first left my relationship, I saw a lot of psychics because I just wanted to know that life was going to be okay. And that was the crux of it all. I saw so many. I think my mum was really worried about me for a while there, but I wanted so badly to know that life was going to be okay that I paid to hear it. And, then when I got further along, I still engage with a psychic. I have a reading every now and again. And I find that now it's more about, I know where I am and where I want to go, and I want some guidance and I want some validation that I'm on the right path. And that's why I pay for a psychic reading. Sort of every, 6, 7, 8 months or so. It's almost like, getting some business advice. I get some sort of spiritual advice about, where my energy's at and things like that. And I pay for those services because they help me to feel better, and I'm allowed to feel better, and you're allowed to feel better. So like I said, whether it's hypnosis, acupressure, massage, physio, chiropractor, I do chiropractor as well. Whether it's any of those, find something that's going to help you to feel better, because until you feel better, it's such a debilitating feeling to just not feel okay. And whether that is, with depression, anxiety, the negative self-talk, the loops that you go over and over and over, speaking badly of yourself, you deserve to not have to feel that way. You don't have to feel that way. I used to feel that way. I have utilized, like I said, a lot of free and paid services and resources to get to where I am today, to understand more about my experience, the impact of it, and how I can rewrite those beliefs and patterns to move to who I want to be. I mean, I have a vision, for Lisa's Sanctuary and for myself, which is way up here. But how do you get up here? Just take steps. Just take the steps up. And that's what I see all, free and paid services and resources there. It's an extra step up. You can't go wrong with anything you do. And sometimes it can feel like it's gone wrong because you may feel worse, but what did you learn from it? I always like to flip it with, if I didn't, gel with, because I've seen multiple counselors and psychologists over my, entire life, because, my parents did engage with some paid professionals after my childhood abuse was disclosed. So all my life, I've seen different ones. Some I gelled with, some I didn't. And I used to, sort of think, oh, that was a waste of time, that was a waste of money. And I'd really beat up on myself, and then I wouldn't want to try again. I wouldn't want to do it again in case it was another waste of time and money. Now that I've gotten older and I feel like I'm much further along in my healing journey, I can see that I learnt something from every single one of those. I thought it went wrong, but it didn't. I learnt something from, and whether it was about, what kind of support I needed, how I need the language that I needed them to use, the understanding that I needed them to have. Not everybody along my journey has understood my healing journey from childhood abuse and domestic violence, and then a second domestic violence relationship. Not everybody relates to that because they haven't experienced it. So there are different elements of, who you engage with that you can learn from. I've learned a lot from women who experienced domestic violence, left, went on to build, a beautiful life and feel happiness and peace. I've learnt a lot from those people who experienced it. I've also learnt so much from people who didn't experience any, physical abuse or sexual abuse in childhood, or they haven't experienced an unhealthy relationship, but they still have so much knowledge from a different perspective of, you know, who they are and where they've been and where they're going. You learn from both. And so that's what I bring to the table, I believe, is I come from a place where I've experienced it and I've healed from it, and I know I can show you how. So yes, it's a bit of a, you know, advertising, you know, video, I guess, but I am certified in hypnosis and I can help you change your life. And I know that's a bold statement, but I've been there, and I want so badly to show others how to get there. I want to show you how I did it. But unfortunately, I can't reach everybody for free at this point. And as my, you know, business grows, and, you know, if you share videos and like and comment and follow me, these free videos and the free content that I post on, you know, my Facebook or my Instagram and YouTube, I can reach so many more people and they can have access to that. But if you want something more personalized, specialized, something more, you know, direct, absolutely have a look at my website, www.lisasanctuary.com.au. I do sessions via Zoom. I do have an office on the south coast of New South Wales, wherever you know you are. So if you are local, come in. I have an office space, and I'd love to show you, you know, just what I've learned along the way through interactions with you about, you know, just bringing you from where you are to where you want to go. I'm going to upload some more videos about, you know, how I work through those processes as well. So, you know what, not everybody would gel with me. I do ask some of the hard questions, can feel tough, but I'm also coming from a place where those questions helped me so much and continue to help me so much. You know, it's going deeper. I need to go deeper because that's where it is. It's deep in that subconscious, and you don't have to relive trauma and experiences, but just understanding the why of something can just help you to shift. And I'll make more videos about that, just about, you know, just how you experience something and create a meaning from it. And it may not have had anything to do with the intended meaning, but the meaning you created for it affected you and impacted you, and that's okay. But we can rewrite those. So yeah, look, if you feel like I could support you along your journey, check out my website, check out my, you know, Facebook, like, share, follow, I know, subscribe, all the rest of it, to reach people, because I'm here to make an impact. I'm on a mission to make an impact, you know, in regards to people healing from their trauma. I think we all have enough trauma, and we need to heal from it. Let's do it. This has been a lot longer than what I expected, but I guess I love to talk. I get on a roll and I get really passionate about, you know, about this. So have a great day. You know, you are significant because you are, and I love you because you exist. And just, you're allowed to look after you. Go look after you. Have a great day.